He left me when I was pregnant, said he wasn't ready for a child. Now that our son has become everything I prayed for, he wants to be dad again. But life has a way of humbling people. And it did. Before we begin, please like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Let's all be internet friends. The test result glowed, stark and undeniable in the dim bathroom light. 2 lines. My heart hammered against my ribs, a mixture of disbelief and a fragile, nascent hope. I walked into the living room, where Jordan sat engrossed in a game, and held it out to him, my hand trembling slightly. He looked up, blinked once, then twice, and his eyes, usually so expressive, became utterly flat. A silence fell between us, heavy and suffocating. I waited for a reaction, for joy, for fear, for anything that resembled the future we'd casually discussed. Instead, he simply rose, grabbed his coat from the hook by the door, and with a voice colder than any winter wind, he said, "You'll be fine." Then he walked out. He didn't look back. And just like that, the life I thought we were building shattered, leaving me standing alone, holding the small, plastic stick that suddenly represented my entire, uncertain future. I remember the exact tilt of his head, the way his jaw was set. I just told him I was pregnant, the words tumbling out in a rush of nerves and quiet hope. "Jordan," I'd whispered, my voice barely audible. "I'm pregnant." I thought he'd at least sit down, take my hand. Say something, anything, that resembled the excitement he'd feigned in the past, the easy promises he'd once made about a future with kids. Instead, he just blinked twice. Once, then again, a slow, deliberate movement that felt like a lifetime. He stood the whole time I told him, rigid, unmoving. Then, he reached for his coat, already draped over the back of the chair, his gaze distant, unseeing. "You'll be fine," he muttered, the words flat, devoid of emotion, and then he was gone. I didn't cry that night. The tears would come later in waves, in unexpected moments, but not then. That night, a cold, clear resolve settled over me. I just packed. My small suitcase, my box of books, the few keepsakes that truly mattered. I wasn't leaving out of anger, but out of a stark recognition that the man I thought I knew simply wasn't there. My best friend, Tasha, arrived within the hour, her energy a grounding force. She didn't ask questions, didn't offer platitudes. She just started helping me carry bags to her car. "We're not doing this alone," she declared, her voice firm as we drove to my aunt's house, a temporary haven. It was a promise, unspoken but deeply felt, that would guide me through the months to come. The sting of Jordan's abandonment was immediate, but the balm came from an unexpected source. His parents. Will and Marian called me before he did, their voices laced with a mix of shock, disappointment, and fierce protectiveness. Will sounded broken, his usual steady voice trembling as he asked, "Lee, is this true? Is he really doing this?" Marian didn't even wait for my answer, her voice soft but insistent. "Where are you, sweetie? Are you safe?" The words I heard next from Marian solidified my resolve. "Whatever he does," she said, her voice firm, "it's not our grandson's fault. This baby is family, Lee. You are family." Their immediate, unwavering support was a lifeline, a testament to the kind of love Jordan couldn't offer. 9 months later, Benji came screaming into this world, a tiny, furious testament to life. The labor was long, exhausting, but I wasn't alone. Marian was there, a steady presence by my side. She held my hand through every contraction, her touch firm and comforting, a stark contrast to the absent hand of her son. When the moment came, when the doctor asked who wanted to cut the cord, Marian didn't hesitate. She stepped forward, her eyes brimming with tears, and cut the cord that bound me to my son. Will was there too, surprisingly, quietly filming his grandson's first breath, every tiny hiccup, every stretch of his perfect little limbs. They never left. Not the waiting room, not my side, not a single moment of those crucial first days. They were the parents Jordan should have been, the grandparents Benji already knew. Benji grew, a bright, curious, joyful boy. He hit all his milestones, each one a triumph I shared with the family who had chosen to stay. The first time Benji walked, it wasn't a tentative step, but a determined waddle across Aunt Lou's living room, straight into Will's outstretched arms. And Will, this quiet, reserved man, cried. He actually cried like it was his own son taking his first steps, his face a mixture of profound pride and overwhelming emotion. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. Jordan never even asked for a picture. He never called, never sent a message, never inquired about his son's development. His absence was so complete, so absolute, that Benji simply didn't know him. The big milestones kept coming, each one a quiet victory. I remember taking Benji to his first day of school alone, his tiny backpack dwarfing his shoulders, his hand clutching mine. We took a picture by the school sign, just the two of us, a testament to our self-sufficient unit. I walked him to his classroom, helped him find his cubby, and waved goodbye with a brave smile, a small knot of nerves in my stomach. When I came home, exhausted but proud, the fridge was full of meals Marian had cooked. Lasagna, a big salad, a casserole. She hadn't said much when she dropped them off earlier, just a warm hug. But later that evening, she called. She didn't ask about Jordan, didn't mention his absence. She just listened as I recounted Benji's day, and before she hung up, she simply said, "You did good, Lee. I'm proud of you." Her quiet presence, her unwavering support, was a constant comfort. She just held my hand through it all, even from afar. Through the years, Jordan's presence in our lives remained a ghost, a flicker of what could have been. He sent a birthday text. Once. It was 2 years after Benji was born, a random message that appeared on my phone, startling me with its unexpectedness. It was generic, lukewarm, and he didn't even spell Benji's name right. "Happy B-Day, Benj," it read. No inquiry about his well-being, no desire for a photo, just that half-hearted, misspelled acknowledgement. I didn't reply. There was nothing to say. And Benji, happily engrossed in his toys, didn't ask. He didn't even know who Jordan was, which was both a blessing and a quiet heartbreak. We built a life around what was present, not what was missing. Our days were filled with school plays, scraped knees, library visits, and the comforting rhythm of our routines. Will taught Benji how to throw a baseball. Marian read him bedtime stories. Tasha was always there for a spontaneous movie night, a much-needed vent session, or just to make me laugh until my sides hurt. She called our little world peace, a hard-won tranquility forged from the storm of abandonment. I called it progress. It wasn't perfect, not always easy, but it was ours. It was a life built on solid ground, nurtured by genuine love and unwavering presence, a vibrant testament to resilience. The peace we had meticulously built was shattered, unexpectedly, on a sunny Saturday afternoon. We were at Benji's little league baseball game, the air thick with the cheers of parents and the crack of bats. Benji was up to bat, his small face scrunched in concentration. Then, a ripple went through the bleachers. A sharp intake of breath from Marian beside me. I followed her gaze. And there he was, Jordan, standing by the fence, conspicuous in his clean polo shirt, looking entirely out of place amidst the chaos of a kid's game. He had a woman with him, too, polished and poised, and a camera slung around his neck. He was taking pictures of Benji. My heart hammered against my ribs. Benji, oblivious, hit a single and sprinted to first base. He ran past the fence where Jordan stood, then looked back, confusion etched on his face. "Mom," he whispered, his voice small, "who's that man?" I didn't answer. I just pulled him close, my arm a shield around him. After the game, the energy shifted. Will and Marian kept Benji close, their gazes wary. As I gathered our things, I saw Jordan waiting. Alone. Leaning against a sleek black car, his hands casually in his pockets, a practiced, confident smile on his face. He watched me approach, his eyes glinting with an unnerving determination. "Lee," he began, his voice smooth, almost rehearsed, "I wanted to talk. I know it's been a long time." He straightened up, taking a step closer. "I've changed. I've grown up. I want to be a father now. I want to be there for Benji." The words hung in the air, a belated, arrogant demand for a title he'd never earned, an easy expectation for a life he had so casually discarded. Before I could even process Jordan's audacious request, before I could find my voice, Will stepped in. He walked calmly but purposefully, positioning himself directly between Jordan and me, a silent, unyielding wall. His hands were clasped behind his back, his posture upright. "Jordan," he said, his voice low, firm, entirely devoid of emotion, "we've got this handled." It was a simple statement, delivered with a quiet authority that brooked no argument. Jordan, caught off guard, seemed to shrink slightly. He looked from Will to me, then back to his father, his practiced confidence faltering. He didn't argue. He just stared at the ground, his shoulders slumping, a defeated figure against the backdrop of the setting sun. Benji, ever observant, had caught the tension in the air. He saw Jordan, then Will's firm stance, then my own strained expression. His little brow furrowed with worry. As we walked away, Benji tugged on my shirt. "Mommy," he asked, his voice small, his eyes wide with concern, "was that man making trouble? Am I in trouble?" My heart ached for his innocence, for the shadow of adult complications that had just grazed his perfect world. I knelt beside him, bringing myself to his eye level. I smoothed his hair back from his forehead, my thumb tracing the curve of his cheek. "No, baby," I said, my voice soft but steady. "No trouble at all. You're protected." I hugged him close, my arms a fortress around the precious life I had fought so hard to build and protected. The encounter at the baseball game prompted a family conference. Will and Marion, always thinking ahead, decided on a strategic move. Marion invited Jordan to dinner. "Just him," she specified, her voice firm, leaving no room for his new wife. Jordan, likely sensing an opportunity to reintegrate, accepted with a relieved smile. He arrived, polished and composed, clearly expecting a warm family reunion, a chance to win them over and, through them, win a path back to Benji. But that smile faded the moment he sat at the dinner table. Will didn't mince words. He laid it all out, every missed birthday, every ignored call, every moment of Benji's life that Jordan had willingly forfeited. It wasn't an argument, it was a calm, devastating recitation of facts, a receipt of every absence, every broken promise. Jordan listened, his face slowly draining of color, his shoulders slumping under the weight of his undeniable past. Jordan, likely reeling from his parents' confrontation, tried a different tactic the next week. He showed up at my door, unannounced, carrying a large bag of expensive toys and a brightly wrapped gift. Clearly, he thought material possessions could bridge the chasm he'd created. "These are for Benji," he announced, his voice a little too loud, a forced cheerfulness in his tone. I opened the door just enough to see him. Benji, sensing the unusual tension, peered out from behind my leg. Jordan knelt down, pushing the bag forward. "Hey, buddy," he said, forcing a smile. Benji, usually so warm and outgoing, simply stared at the strange man with the shiny bag. Then, his voice small but clear, he said, "I don't know you." He took a step back, shrinking further behind me. I didn't intervene. It wasn't mine to fix. The rejection, direct and unequivocal from the child he abandoned, was a consequence only Jordan could bear. The news of Jordan's past, and his sudden, uninvited attempts to re-enter Benji's life, eventually reached his new wife, Alexis. She was polished, poised, and had married Jordan believing in his carefully curated image. She deserved the truth. A few days after Jordan's failed gift attempt, I received a message from Alexis, polite but direct. "I need to speak with you, Lee." We met at a quiet coffee shop, the air thick with unspoken questions. I didn't sugarcoat it. I laid out the timeline, the abandonment, the years of his absolute absence, the unwavering support of Will and Marion. I showed her photos of Benji's life, filled with love from his grandparents and me, and no trace of Jordan. She listened, her expression shifting from polite curiosity to profound shock, then a dawning comprehension. She didn't argue. She just sat there, absorbing the undeniable reality of what she had married into. The coffee shop meeting must have been a devastating revelation for Alexis. Just 2 days later, my phone rang. It was her, and she was crying. Not quiet tears, but ragged, heartbroken sobs. "Lee," she choked out, her voice barely audible, I needed to know. She'd done a test. Not just for the child they were expecting, but for the older child she had from a previous relationship, the one Jordan had claimed as his own, boasted about raising. The results were clear, definitive. Neither child belonged to Jordan. The man who had abandoned his own son because he wasn't ready, who then claimed another's children as his legacy, was now facing the ultimate biological truth. When I told Tasha about Alexis's discovery, about the test results confirming Jordan wasn't the father of either child he claimed, her response was immediate and utterly Tasha. Her jaw dropped. She stared at me, then threw her head back and laughed, a loud, disbelieving peal of pure irony. "You can't make this up," she exclaimed, wiping a tear from her eye. "This is better than any reality TV show." I just smiled, a quiet, knowing smile. "Life writes its own scripts," I replied, a profound sense of justice settling in my soul. "And sometimes it writes them perfectly." It was a moment of true, unadulterated karma, a reminder that the universe has its own way of balancing the scales without needing anyone to raise their voice. Alexis's discovery and her subsequent departure sent Jordan spiraling. He lost his new wife, his manufactured family, and the fabricated narrative he'd tried to build. Desperate, stripped of all his pretenses, he came back again. Alone this time. He showed up at my door, looking disheveled, hollowed out, nothing like the polished man from the baseball game. He didn't even try to force a smile. He simply stood there, a desperate plea in his eyes, asking for a visit with Benji, for a chance to explain. But this time, it wasn't me who answered the door. Will met him at the porch, his face grim, his stance unyielding. He didn't open the screen door, he just looked at his son, his voice firm and final. No. Time continued its steady march, bringing with it new celebrations and deeper bonds. As Father's Day approached, Benji, now a vibrant and deeply loved 9-year-old, sat at the kitchen table, markers spread around him. He meticulously crafted a card, coloring a stick figure drawing of a tall man holding a small boy's hand. He carefully wrote in his neat, developing handwriting. When he was finished, he proudly presented it to Will. "Happy Father's Day, Grandpa Will," he exclaimed, his eyes shining. Will's face softened, his eyes misting over as he read the simple, heartfelt message inside. "Thanks for teaching me what love looks like." It was a profound moment, a testament to the quiet, consistent love that had shaped Benji's world. And Jordan, he's still waiting. Waiting for a call that won't come, a door that won't open, a life that has moved on without him. He texts, he leaves voicemails, he sometimes drives past the house, a solitary figure hoping for a glimpse of the son he abandoned. But this story isn't about him anymore. It's about Benji, the bright, resilient boy he left behind, who grew up surrounded by a love so fierce and true that he never felt the absence. It's about Marion and Will, who stepped in as unwavering pillars. It's about Tasha, the friend who kept me sane. It's about the village that rose up, strong and united, to protect and nurture a child who never needed a man who couldn't even stay long enough to meet him. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.